Welcome to Team 7's YouTube video. Today we are going to talk about Enterprise 2.0 and Web 2.0 technologies. We will go through the various questions we have been assigned. First, we will start with question number 1. Will the iPad be able to cross the chasm? What strategy should Apple follow to cross the chasm? What are the pros and cons? Do you agree with Jen Swang Huang, NVIDIA chief executive, that 2010 will be the year of the tablet? Will Steve Jobs define tablets? How many iPads do you think will be sold this year? Will iPads find a tipping point, and when? We will pose this question to Lauren.
We are really kind of unsure of when the iPad will cross the chasm, though it does seem that if Apple can convert some of its current Mac users to become tablet users, that it should be able to move from the early adopters to the early majority, which is what crossing the chasm is. Personal users will have different needs from corporate users, and Steve Jobs must present the iPad as a product that can meet the needs of both types of users. One quote we found said that Jobs has positioned the iPad as a pioneer in a new genre of computing, somewhere between a laptop and a smartphone. One of the questions that Steve Jobs must be prepared to answer is how the iPad is different from an iPhone, besides being much larger. In a lot of our research, we came across articles that said, the iPad is just basically a larger version of the iPhone with all of its apps. So Steve Jobs is going to need to differentiate the iPad from the iPhone. So we think if the iPad is going to cross the chasm, it is clear that Steve Jobs must explain how the benefits of the iPad outweigh these concerns. If Jobs is successful in marketing the iPad properly, we really think that he could revolutionize the tablet market, and that 2010 surely could be the year of the tablet. However, though, there are some critics. One publisher we found, Thad McElroy, noted that the public was hoping that with the iPad, Apple would provide a newfangled must-have device, and that Apple really has not fulfilled the public's expectations. Not too many people have switched over to the iPad yet. They're still working some kinks out, so it's going to take a little bit longer for it to reach its tipping point. Brainstorm Tech, which is a major tech blog, had a poll of a bunch of analysts who provided information that the iPad's going to sell between 1.1 and 7.0 million units by the end of 2010. If you compare this to when the iPhone was first released, this is quite a few less units for the first year, so we don't think that the iPad will hit its tipping point anytime soon, but it still has that great potential. It's all about how Steve Jobs markets the iPad, how he differentiates it from other similar technologies. So with that, I'd like to pose our second question to Justin. Basically, it asks, it says, HarperCollins is negotiating with Apple to make ebooks available on the tablet, the iPad. HarperCollins will set the price with added features, and Apple will take a percentage of sales. Where would you place e-readers on the technology adoption lifecycle? Do you think Apple's strategy should be the tornado dive? There are many e-readers on the market now. Is this the time to enter the market? And how do you predict the shakeout in this market?
All right, so currently right now, e-readers have hit the tipping point and are continuously growing. 5 factors that enabled e-readers to reach a tipping point is that screen reading rivals paper reading. Consumer awareness has increased dramatically. The amount of content available has increased. The fact that books are also impulse buys, and then finally, e-books have become cheaper. Because of the fact that we feel that e-readers are at the tipping point, we feel that there would be no need to implement the tornado dive because it's already at the tipping point. And we also feel that as long as the company can differentiate the product, we feel that they should enter the market. All right. Next question that we're going to address is I'm going to ask Sarah. The U.S. Department of Justice has struck deals with several major universities not to promote the Kindle or other e-readers unless the devices are fully accessible to blind students. This is just one issue that companies need to address as they roll out new technologies. Security and privacy are key factors from the consumer perspective with all new technologies. The relationship with the consumer has changed. Manish Mehta, Vice President of Social Media and Community at Dell, said, "We are trying to embed social media into the fabric of how we do business. His advice is to listen and then participate. According to Meta Dell, Dell has generated nearly $7 million in global product sales on Twitter. Could you be the VP of social media for your company? What are the credentials?
Thanks, Justin. As technologies continue to define how our society works, it's important to make sure that the technologies that we discover and that we work with every day really fit into our society as well. Some factors you have to consider are these technologies accessible to the handicapped, and do these technologies cause harm that hits some of your security and your privacy concerns. Also, as technologies continue to grow in importance, it is important to find a person in your company that can really be the driver of implementing social technologies and lead the implementation of social media. We identified what we think are some credentials that this person would need to have in order to be successful in this role. First, this person would have to have a strong business background, specifically in marketing. As we've seen with the Groundswell book, a lot of what social media revolves around is the marketing aspect of a company. Also, this person will have to have a strong background in IT. Additionally, this person should have an active involvement in current online communities and should be an early adopter of these new technologies. This person must be a good communicator and creative in what they do. Through this class, we really feel that we've had the opportunity to grow our skills in a lot of these different areas and to learn a lot about what somebody who would be a strong social media director might be like, or a strong social media VP might be like. I feel like if we got some hands-on experience and got to really dive into the world of social media, we could really make a strong VP for any company looking to start a social media division. Now for question number 4. Many are predicting an increase in the cost of ebooks from $9.95 to $14.95. What do you think? Is the ebook the killer app? Is it a purple cow? Will this technology take off as a mainstream in the future? And is there a way ebooks might meet the needs of 86% of the market, similar to the $100 laptop? And I'm going to pose this question to Lauren.